Yeah, now I'm handing over to Molly for a short introduction.
So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm English, and I live in Brussels. And I'm passionate about supporting social and environmental impact professionals to find a balance in their life and work. So I'm a trained coach. I'm trained in various coaching and therapeutic modalities, and I specialize in coaching and facilitation outdoors. So I call my one-to-one coaching practice Muddy Boot Coaching. Um, and I'm prompted to answer what plant I would be. The first one that came to mind was a choisia, which is like a kind of bush-like plant that has white flowers, and it's still got green leaves on it in the winter. So a little bit about resilience there. So yeah, um, that's a little bit about me, Katerina.
Yeah, thank you so much, Molly. Um, and I've just read each minute a different plant. That's a bit how I feel as well. I can really resonate. And well, yeah, my name is Katrina. I'm German, living at the countryside close to Cologne. And I'm a transformation facilitator and systemic coach. And I work on holistic inner development and really vibrant collaboration for creating more flourishing futures. And I work with the EU institutions, NGOs, and changemakers around the world. I'm also a co-founder of the Facilitators for Future. And thinking of the plant, for me came up mycelium. I don't know if you know this, is yeah, the connecting plant under the ground, in the forest and everywhere. And this is really like the mycorrhizal network that connects the trees and other beings in the soil. So it's a bit like holding space and connecting natural beings um, and supporting that flourishing in a way. And just like Molly as well, I love being in nature. I've kind of grown up in the woods and also take people out whenever possible. Also, sometimes my little son, who's not always excited about that so much. And regarding resilience, I was once asked that question if I yeah, see myself as resilient. And my husband then said, well, you grow up with four brothers and he knows them, so this might be part of the resilience as well. And yeah, coming to the inner Green Deal, I will again share my screen. And this little photo was taken in Costa Rica. um, and yeah, we're both working for the Inner Green Deal, which is a non-profit organization who's yeah, offering resilience for who's offering this resilience for Changemaker program. Um, and we're a learning and development organization based in Cologne and also in Brussels with a growing global community. And we are very much dedicated to accelerate the green transformation. We do that through inner development, reconnection to nature, and community action. For this, we work with international organizations, aside for the EU institutions, but also the UN and the Inner Development Goals Initiative, and also different NGOs and community leaders. And all the programs that we offer and all the work is science-based from the fields of neuroscience, behavioral science, and other fields, and continuously reviewed also in partnership with the Lund University Center for Sustainability Studies with Professor Christine Wormsler. And all the work is also deeply rooted in the understanding that we are an integral part of nature. And we learn in nature and with nature and from the natural world. And it might feel a bit ironic that this now is an online program, but we regularly really receive the feedback that people feel much more connected after the program. So be surprised, but we will give a bit more insight about how we do that. And yeah, in order to skillfully navigate all the challenges and the constantly changing environment, we feel that we need to develop inner qualities and capacities like awareness and regulating our emotions to be able to shift our inner states. And Molly will give a short overview now of what that means and what we understand by resilience.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so as you can see here, we don't understand resilience as endurance. So it's something that's often misunderstood, particularly in the workplace, because it's often seen as the ability to endure heavy workloads, to persist through stress. And those who manage it are often celebrated as the resilient people in an organization. So whilst it's not actually about endurance and becoming tough, it's also not about individuals having to adapt to stressful environments or about forcing others to take responsibility for making you resilient. What it is about is the ability to adapt to change. So adapting to change isn't something fixed. It's not a personality trait that we have, something that we either have or we don't have. It's actually a skill or a set of skills that help us to shift our inner states to meet external challenges. So what you can see here is a graph which shows the landscape of our inner experience. It's called the valence arousal model. And it categorizes emotions based on two axes. So you see the valence at the bottom, which is positive versus negative emotions, so-called negative emotions. And then there's the arousal axis, which goes from low to high intensity, so ranging from calm, low intensity to intense high. And I think really we wanted to show you this, that you can look into it more deeply, but really to get an idea of this, if you look at the stressed part of the graph, that's where we often spend quite a lot of time in today's world because it's high arousal state combined with negative inputs. For example, constant negative news. So we can often be left feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, tense, annoyed. And so what resilience is when we are able to shift from these high arousal stress states to low arousal states of recovery and vice versa. So if we understand that it's something that we can cultivate, we understand that it's about developing a set of skills. So these are probably all things you know about, but just to reiterate, it's about prioritizing sleep. So that's behaving differently, for example, thinking differently, which is about addressing emotions on a psychological level, and targeting the nervous system. So a bit of what we did at the beginning. So through the breath, and in that we create change at a physiological level. So as I've said, whilst this is about what I've just outlined there are skills, and in this course we will be reflecting on and deepening those skills. The focus of the course is actually more on an inner development journey. So it's a deeper approach that's designed to create lasting and meaningful transformation.
Thank you so much, Molly. And when there are questions around that, you can already address it in the chat. We collect that and then come back to it. And now I will present a little bit the program itself, which is designed really to empower change makers like you by strengthening the essential inner capacities that enhance our ability to create positive impact while remaining resilient in the face of crisis and understanding also the links behind. And the programs have been widely adopted with European institutions, UNDP's, Conscious Food Systems Alliance, and a range of NGOs and companies. We'll also start with Greenpeace and others soon. And we are really, really grateful for the Robert Howe Foundation for their generous funding of this 6-module program for Ashoka. And I will now give you a brief overview of the elements and the journey. So No, you can see, I think, the next one. Um, Maybe you know already about the inner development goals, which is a framework of qualities and skills that was co-creatively developed by thousands of experts in the fields of neuroscience, behavioral science, climate change, and other to support the achievement of the sustainable development goals. And I will not dive deeper into the whole framework, but just to say that this is, in a way, also the foundation of the structure that we've chosen for our program, focusing on being, thinking, relating, collaborating, and acting. And there you can already see how inner is directly linked to outer. So we don't just see inner as something separate from the outer world in a way, but it's all interlinked. And this is a highly interactive and transformative program with the live sessions where we meet for 2 hours are really an integral part of this whole journey. And I will give an overview of what we will do. So in the first session, the introduction session is really about getting to know each other, laying the foundations, getting everything started, and learning how that inner development and how we relate to the world are essential levers for outer transformation. And we also dive deeper into the resilience model that we've just quickly shown. And in the being module, we're strengthening the relationship to ourselves, understanding our stressors, and learning how to regulate our emotions skillfully to navigate the high pressure environments that we are living in. In thinking, we see that the biggest barrier for impactful action very often is our mind, our inner critical voices, beliefs, but also our unconscious bias and competing commitment that we have. So we will learn about our minds and really practically also work on unblocking change. In the relating module, the Professor Christine Wormsler, she always says that all the crises that we face, from biodiversity to climate crisis or social crises, all these are rooted in relationship crises. Separation from ourselves, from others, and from nature. So we will explore how everything's interconnected and what is our role in it, and how can we act in a compassionate way without burning out on the one hand, and how can we deal with difficulty and adversity that we often face as change makers on the other hand. And another important aspect that we always see is also developing compassion for ourselves. So this is like really a core quality if we want to be of service for others, and yet it's so difficult when we feel we don't really have time for that because we want to do something for others. And then collaborating, Margaret Wheatley always says, whatever the problem, community is the answer. And well, this is what we see a living practice within Ashoka. And that's why in this module, we start to explore how we can explore and collaborate on the question, how to integrate the learnings of the journey and how we can bring inner development and resilience into your changemakers world and organizations. And then we have a final creative and quite fun module where we practice storytelling to inspire change and ignite others. And also in different modules, we will have experts from Ashoka to make this journey even more relevant and co-creative in itself. And as I said, this is that we have the live sessions, but also we will, we integrate nature practices. You will have an app, so you will have regular guided nature walks and other practices, also contemplative practices for your own practice at your own pace. Also, we use a lot of journaling in it to really let all the learnings sink deeper. There will be additional material for you to dive deeper, like videos, research papers, and you can choose how deep you want to dive into all of this. And of course, it's so much also about building that community and having that exchange, learning from each other. As you know, you have all the expertise within you, and it's so wonderful always to feel the power of community in these sessions, but also next to the sessions. And it's also about habit change, so really implementing the changes and the learnings. And now the animation has gone wild, so I just click to we see everything. Interesting. um, so the goals of the program is, on the one hand, really to cultivate these inner qualities, mindfulness, compassion, and courage to navigate in these challenging environments and overcoming the biases, but also, yeah, regulating our emotions. And in this, then bringing a more systemic insight. So it's not only about that individual development, but also seeing how this relates to how we create impact in the world and how this inner and outer is linked in a way, and how we can collaborate more effectively to really bring that change and, as I said, develop that compassion and self-compassion even more. So an essential part is really, the central part is deepening the connection. As I said, all the crises are relationship crises due to the story of separation. So it's really about reconnecting to ourselves, others, and nature. We do that with different practices, and bringing nature also into the program, building that community. And it's about long-term sustainable impact as well. So the reflections also, and we will explore that, how can we make these learnings last, and how can we bring that out of this environment and the group that we have, and really create a bit more systemic change and integrate that resilience also in the community. Yeah, and use the storytelling to really change the narratives. Just share everything here. Different methods that we're using, a lot of contemplative methods. It's also based on the resilience model that you've seen. So mindfulness practices, but also gratitude and body practices that we use. So it's a holistic approach that we use mind, emotion, body, and we are building on wisdom traditions and very much also the natural intelligence and collaborative methods, and systems thinking. So it's always seeing that everything's interlinked and making that visible. Molly, you wanted to say?
Yeah. So as Katerina's given you a bit of an overview, you'll have a bit of a sense of why you might want to join this course. So as you can see, looking at this slide here, we're going to be providing you with lots of opportunities for nature connection, for building community, and for skills development. So all of these, we hope, will help you more skillfully navigate the different crises that we're facing. And we'd like to cite here what one of our previous course participants said about participating, that that it fostered a really deep sense of self-awareness and of mindfulness, enabling her to become more patient and empathetic when interacting with others, and to form stronger connections and communicate more effectively. So this is an inner change which has helped her, she says, to create greater focus, resilience, and a proactive approach to challenges. So we have lots more data like that available if you're interested in hearing about that, but we just wanted to give you a little bit of a flavour of what somebody had got out of the course. So yeah. Now, just to reiterate, so as you've seen a bit of an overview of the programme, but these are the dates. So it's a 6 week program. So it will be starting on the 6th of March, 2 hours a week. As you can see, the first one is just slightly earlier for various reasons, but other than that, it's 10 till 12 Central European time. So how will you apply to it? What's the next step? I'm just going to put in a link to, you did it as well, Hovi, thank you. So this is the web page, the Ashoka web page that you might have already had a look at with the information. So we've got the deadline for that on the 7th of February. So you just need to go in there and apply to join. And you'll also see more information there. So finally, as we've kind of alluded to, there are requirements that particularly ask you to commit because these are funded places. So if you do apply and you're accepted, then it's a commitment. So just make sure that you can commit to the learning journey, which means participating in all the 6 live modules, taking time to integrate the learnings, and yeah, just kind of knowing that you're going to have a bit of that time in the week in between each session. And of course, bringing joy, curiosity, and a willingness to connect. So yeah, just turning up, willing to create that community.